Hi guys, Andy here. If you follow my videos, you probably saw recently my review of the Nexus 6. I love the device, I think it's fantastic. In fact, I've recently gone back to it after a brief stint on the Note 4. If you've seen my video reviews, you may have seen other people's reviews on YouTube and noticed that actually some of them, they love the device, think it's amazing, others not so much. And you're left wondering, am I supposed to buy this thing or not? One person that noticed that was Rob Wilson, the presenter of the Video Gadgets Journal. And he got in touch with me to say, why don't we do a collaborative video where we give each other's viewers a chance of somebody else's opinion? I thought that's a great idea. So without further ado, over to Rob to introduce himself.
Hello viewers, and thank you Andy for welcoming me onto your channel. My name is Rob and I run the Video Gadgets Journal, and I've also been looking at the Nexus 6 for the last couple of months. I have some positive views and some negative views, but together we have formed 3 questions to pose each other. So Andy, I'm ready and waiting. Bring on question number 1. Ow, that really hurt.
Okay, so the first thing that anybody noticed about the Nexus 6 is the size of the thing. Rob, surely that's just too big.
Well, on first impressions, the Nexus 6 certainly is a huge device. But as you get to use it, it's not quite as big as what you first imagine. But we won't get any real answers here, so let's go up to the studio and take a closer look. Yeah, I clearly have a face for radio. Right, the size of the Nexus 6. The thing we have to understand before we look at the device in detail is this. You go into purchasing a Nexus 6 with your eyes very much wide open. I mean, it's hard not to mix a Nexus 6 considering its size. It's a 5.96 inch screen with a bit more for the bezels, so take some responsibility for what you're doing and don't complain exclusively about the size of the damn thing. You may have come across the term phablet, the combination of a phone and a tablet, but what comes first in that mashup is The Nexus 6 is still primarily a phone, and you can see that in this illustration. The Galaxy S4 is what you might now consider the standard 5-inch screen. The Nexus 7 is definitely a full-blown tablet, but the Nexus 6 resembles a smartphone much more than it does a tablet. You can hold it comfortably in one hand and sort of use it in one hand, and importantly for portability, it will still fit in your pocket. With jeans it requires a little cajoling, but should still get in there. So unless you're going to use it for fitness activities where it does become a bit cumbersome, the Nexus 6 is fine to carry around. The great advantage of the size of the Nexus 6 is, surprisingly enough, its size. Sounds stupid, I know, but what I found is that I was so concerned about the size of the device and whether I'd like a big screen that I actually forgot just how awesome the extra real estate is. Until I went back to my old phone for a couple of days and recoiled at just how small everything feels. And even that sounds silly considering how big the Galaxy S4 used to be a couple of years ago. There is some merit to the term phablet, and I am a big consumer of the written word on my digital devices, whether it be the BBC News, Facebook, and especially reading books. The Nexus 6 makes all reading experiences better and reading dense text palatable. I've happily ditched my Nexus 7 in favour of the 6 on short bus journeys because the Nexus 6 is a perfectly suitable hybrid replacement. It's better for playing games, watching movies and typing on the on-screen keyboard, and this is all backed up by a superb AMOLED Quad HD display which is simply stunning. Now, a device of this magnitude doesn't get away completely scot-free. You are making some, forgive the pun here, pretty sizable compromises. You can use a Nexus 6 in one hand, but it's a pretty miserable experience. Your thumb can reach about half of the screen and it will struggle to reach the back button and forget anything on the left side of the screen without repositioning the device in your hand, which is a pain in the bum. Android maybe could have tried to help you out here with some intuitive UI, but that's not the case. I could also go on about how the Nexus 6 offers absolutely no big screen benefits like multitasking and a stylus like the Galaxy Note 4 for example, but Andy didn't ask me that question. Moving on.
Thanks for that answer, Rob. Some very good points, very well made. So the next thing that you might not know about, but the Nexus 6 comes encrypted. Now what that means is all the information on the device is stored in a safe way, but what it does mean is each time it accesses it, it has to unencrypt the information. Now, Rob, surely that's going to slow the device down.
Annoyingly, in the Android Lollipop settings, the device proudly announces the fact that it is encrypted. But you can't do anything with this information. You can't disable it without modifying your device through routing. So whether you like it or loathe it, you're stuck with it. And after reading stories about encryption lag, I definitely wanted to turn it off, to test if nothing else. Now, I really came into this question all prepared with a hostile answer. When I've been using the Nexus 6, there have been times when I've thought to myself, yeah, there is a bit of lag here. But as I continue to test the device, as you can see on this video now, there isn't really any what you would describe as lag. It pops through random applications with efficient speed and displays content probably as fast as my internet will allow. I've started to realise that I'm trying to invent a problem which is a tiny fraction of the reality. This is my opinion on encryption lag. If you haven't used an application for a while, the Nexus 6 will pause for a sharp intake of breath. It's like a metronome missing a single beat. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tick, tock. Take this example of launching YouTube coming up right now. There was a 1 or 2 second gap there where it paused for a moment before the application kicked in, and then everything works fine afterwards. Sure, it's annoying when you're supposed to have the most powerful smartphone on the market, but a deal breaker? Hardly. I did try and do some comparison tests with the Nexus 6 against my Galaxy S4 and Nexus 7, but they turned out to be a waste of time because the differences between the three devices in terms of general use were impossible to differentiate from. Maybe it's wasted technology, you simply don't need all the power that's in the Nexus 6. And what is of far more concern is the obscene boot up time of well over a minute and random reboots that do occasionally occur. I don't know whether these are down to encryption or not, but they spoil the moniker of a pure Android device that's supposed to be uncluttered and reliable. So I think encryption is a bit of a red herring, but that doesn't mean the Nexus 6 is totally free from performance issues.
Thanks, Rob. I think I would agree with you. People get carried away with encryption and the effect that it has on their device. In day-to-day use, I really don't think it's noticeable. On to the final question. Is the Nexus line finished?
I'm going to make some assumptions based on what I know. The Nexus 7 2013 model was a refinement of a truly magnificent tablet. The Nexus 4 and 5 handsets came and went as devices that every Google enthusiast wanted. Very little criticism, cheap prices, everyone's happy. This doesn't seem to be the case with Google's new flagship tablet and smartphone, however. The Nexus 9 has build quality issues that I can personally attest to, and the 8.9-inch screen puts it in no man's land. It acts like a large tablet, but Android's ecosystem isn't really suited to it, and the iPad Air totally dominates the large tablet arena. I bought a Nexus 9 and promptly returned it. The Nexus 6 doesn't quite suffer the same fate. It is a very good smartphone, but personally, I don't think it's a market leader. It's not just another member of the pack either. It's out there on its own as one of the largest and most powerful handsets around, as well as being one of the most expensive. There are more reasons than previous models not to buy this Nexus device. I think part of the reason it's such a huge device is that Google wants to encourage you to leave your phone in your pocket and use a new shiny smartwatch, powered by Android Wear of course, and then use your phone for more taxing and productive tasks, hence the bigger screen. Do you want a large phone and another digital device in your life? Google obviously does, but you probably just want an upgrade of your existing technology at a discount. The Nexus line no longer seems to cater to that solution. So I don't think this is the end of Nexus products. They will continue to be the first device with the newest technology and Android software, but it will also be the vehicle for other Google hardware without the savings you previously enjoyed. So there you have it folks, 3 answers to 3 Nexus 6 questions posed by Andy. I hope you found them intriguing, informative and entertaining. And remember, YouTube is not a passive experience and it's your chance to get involved. If you agreed or disagreed with my answers, I'd really like to hear your opinions, so get involved in the comments below and join in on the discussion. Now remember, I said at the beginning of this video, it is a cross-collaboration effort and Andy is currently talking to himself as I posed him 3 questions, so why don't you give him some company and click on the video. If you want to learn about more of my experiences with the Nexus 6, then you can click over here. And if you want to learn more about the Video Gadgets Journal and me in particular, then click on this Voice for Radio now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon in another video.